хочу пригласить вас на очень увлекательную лекцию нашего эксперта из Америки, Гэри Фаулера. Всех предпринимателей, всех стартаперов, всех, кому интересно, как развивать свой бизнес, я приглашаю вот на эти замечательные клавиши, сиденья. Занимайте свои места. У нас будет двухчасовой мастер-класс. Мы будем говорить про бизнес-модели, будем говорить про питч перед инвестором, будем говорить про мотивацию в организации стартапа. Поэтому, если эта тема ваша, особенно вот коллеги, которые у нас стоят на стендах, я приглашаю всех присаживаться сюда, занимать свои места. Мы будем начинать через несколько минут. И если вы хотите активно поучаствовать в мероприятии, присаживайтесь в первые ряды, чтобы мы могли поработать с вашими проектами. Коллеги, давайте активнее присоединяйтесь к нам. Мы начнем через 5 минут. Бурные аплодисменты. Отлично, отлично. Привлечем много внимания. Меня зовут Замир Шухов. Я представляю компанию GVA LaunchGurus. Мы занимаемся акселерацией бизнеса. Сегодня здесь мы вам расскажем несколько секретов, которые позволят вам использовать их в своей ежедневной деятельности и изменить ход истории. Изменить то, как вы смотрите на свой проект, на свой бизнес и стать успешным. Итак, друзья, я хочу поприветствовать нашего гостя из Соединенных Штатов. Он недавно прилетел из Флориды. Это сооснователь и главный евангелист GVA LaunchGurus, господин Гэри Фаулер. Давайте его поаплодируем.
All right. It's good to see all your smiling faces today. My name's Гэri Fowler, and I believe that each one of you here, each person that does a startup has a potential that's not realized. I've been doing this startups for 36 years. My first startup was at 21 years old. 21. And I had a dream, just like each one of you. Now, how many of you in here are doing startups today? Raise your hand. Startups. Come on in the back, too, I want to say. Yeah? When you do a startup, there are a couple of different skill sets that you need to have. One is you've got to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one is going to believe in you. I call it, this is my TED Talk, by the way. I'm a TED speaker. This is part of my TED Talk called Unleashing the Human Potential in Startups. So a little bit about me. I've been doing this over 30 years. I did an IPO. Today it's worth about $300 million. I did my first startup at 21. I was really lucky, not smart, and it generated $9 million in revenue. I'm the co-chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce in Moscow. I've worked as an executive with Hewlett-Packard, with Mirantis, with Siemens. I have a great deal of international experience. So, again, it is belief. I remember when I was 21 years old and I did my first startup, and people said, you can't do it. Don't try, it's bad. And in Russia, it would be taki tak, yana dayus, mojibit, yani is nayu. It is BS. You have to believe. You have to believe in your dreams. Each one of you. Because if you don't get the opportunity of a Steve Jobs or a Mark Zuckerberg. So spending most of my time out in Silicon Valley, doing postgraduate work at Stanford University myself, I can tell you, you've got to believe. That is a starting point, guys, belief. So, we've done 140 startups in Russia, 2 Americans and a Russian company. 140 startups. 34% of our startups have gotten funding. Those companies today are worth $120 million, and they've raised over $25 million. You can do the same thing. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Because if you don't love it, people see it. I see you're smiling there. You know what I mean? If you don't love it, people see it. Smile. This isn't the metro. Smile. Be happy. Encourage people. Life is about passion. When Steve Jobs would do a presentation and he would walk across the stage in the Moscone Center and you looked at him, you looked and paid attention because he always had something really cool. And I remember one time, Jobs had the wow that was totally amazing. He said, I've never known what this pocket in my jeans is for. And people thought, and people were trying to understand, and Jobs said, I know what it's for now. It's for the new iPod Nano. I finally figured it out. That is a wow statement. That gets people's attention. Those are the kind of things that each one of you need to have. Because if you have the wow statement, that becomes part of your pitch. How many of you have developed your pitches? Raise your hand. Pitches for your startups. Do you have a pitch? One, two. Guys, and how many startups do we have here? 8, yes? 9. You have to have a pitch. You have to believe in your pitch. So I did a company one time, and we did long-range weather forecasting. We said we cannot control the weather, but we can control the impact on your business. And I won the largest deal with the largest retailer in the world, Walmart, to the CEO and president of the company, because he said, I don't know what it is, but I want to know more about it. That's the kind of thing that you have to do. That's the kind of thing that'll work for each and every one of you. You're here today doing startups, right? You walk around, people have to be excited. I've walked around, they're not exciting me, right? It's crazy. Your startups, come on. You got to go around and say, this is the coolest stuff in the world. But they're not saying it. I've got something that's interesting. Let me show you what it's going to do. It's a nanotechnology, and it'll slip. Everything becomes slippery. And what? Come on. Come up with a wow statement so that you can convey your message. You can convey your pitch. So passion is number 1. The next is optimism. This glass is half full. And I know the biggest challenge that we have throughout the world is having people believe. So when you come up and say to somebody that's going to invest in your company, and by the way, we have $10 million seed fund and a $200 million venture come. We will invest in you. And you come up to me and say, Yani is not mojibit. Does it work? Taki talk. You say taki talk about something, it's crazy. You think you're going to invest? Come on. Nobody in their right mind would do it. If you say, I hope. The other thing, you cannot let people in your life dictate fear. Like your grandmothers say, oh, don't do that startup. Have a nice job. Work for Sistema. Work for this company. Work for Gazprom. Don't worry about it. Get married. Go to the dacha. Pick mushrooms. Come on, that's not a startup mentality. That is not it. By the way, Steve Jobs was raised Armenian. He spoke Armenian fluently. His father was from Syria, but he was raised by an Armenian family. But he had dreams. Always, always with your passion, with your optimism, always want to learn new things. Always try new things. Don't be afraid to go out and try. Fear will kill you. Kill you. Go out and try it. And maybe something simple like walking into a different club and maybe looking at a new project. Just try it. So that glass is no longer half empty. That glass is half full, right? Yeah? Half full. Now, how many of you believe in half full? Yeah? Raise your hands. Come on, I want to see it. I see like this. Yeah, I believe a little bit. I'm not sure. Talky talk. Sometimes, no. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But if you don't believe in it, you're not going to get people investing in your company. Because what do we look at? We look at for dynamic teams of people that have passion, that have optimism, that can convince you that they got the best product in the entire world. And once you have that, oh yeah, the world changes. This is a very interesting skill set to have. Elon Musk from Tesla. Do you know Tesla? There's a car back there, yes? Tesla. Elon Musk did PayPal, Tesla, and SpaceX. And people said he was cuckoo, sumashiechi. He was crazy. He said, I have a dream. I have a dream to change the world. And he was looking to the future. He was looking to a point in the planet where we're going to need green technologies. He wanted to be the first. His idea was to change humanity and also, by the way, let all of the car companies use the technology. Open. SpaceX. Look at it today. People are going out and talking about mining different planets. Mining on asteroids, taking things to space stations. He is doing it now. PayPal, eBay, it was written on a napkin. He and Peter Thiel, they did it. Why? Because they followed through with their dream. That's another thing. When you have a dream and you write your dream down, follow through with it. Take the next step. Visualization, what does it mean? For me, it's envisioning where you're going to be exactly. Write it down, put a picture up, talk about it to yourself, look at it. Envision exactly what you want to do. When I did an IPO, we started with nothing. I'm not from Israel, I'm not Jewish, and it was a company from Haifa, Israel. And he said, I have a mathematical algorithm that's going to change the world. And I said to him, and what? He said, well, my name of my company is IET. And I said, okay, so tell me your value proposition. What do you do? Well, we have great products. Okay, what's the name of your product? My product is Troubleshooter. So I said, okay. I got hired by the venture capitalists in that company to be the senior vice president of marketing. I changed the name of the company to Click Software, and I changed the products from Click Fix, Click Plan, Click Analyze. Everybody thought they knew the company. Oh, it's Click something, right? Mouse click, software, it's simple. But when I did that, it entirely changed the company because what we did is visualize where the company could be. Nobody believed it at the time. We had less than 8 million in sales. The company right now is 300 million a market cap. So you can do it too. I'm not a rocket scientist by any means. I know there are a lot of you out there a lot smarter than I am, and I want to see each and every one of you succeed because that's what life is all about, is fulfilling your dreams. Don't look backwards, literally, in your life and think about what things could have been. Look at the future and look at what things can be and affect the change. That's what a startup is all about. We've done 140 startups in 2.5 years. 140 startups. There is no program that's as successful as we are in Russia. None. 34% have gotten funded. Why? Because we put them through the process and we help change the mentality. We help them understand that belief is possible. Anybody can do it. You say, well, it's not me. I'm not the startup kind. My thing is, I believe each person has that ability to do it. Each and every one of you have an idea. But it's a matter of taking that idea forward. And when you do it, It is the greatest thing that you can do in your life. So it's time to change. Now, how many are you in sales and marketing? Yes? No? Raise your hand. Sales and marketing? Two? You're all in sales. Come on. Everybody in here is in sales. When you're dressing up and you're going out for a party, you're in sales. You're marketing, yes? When you talk to people, you're in sales and marketing, each and every one of you. It's great that the two guys in the front admit it, but we're all in sales and marketing. That life is a big stage. So it's time for you to change. And the change is we've got to go down through and redefine what sales is for startups. I heard something today from one of the startups that was just amazing for me. And it's not right. And let me tell you why. When you have a product or you have a service and you develop that product or service without having anybody in the world take a look at it, it's crazy because you start believing your own bullshit. It's nuts. Oh, I got the greatest thing. Do I? Yes, you do. Oh, I love it. We're so smart. Let's go have tea together. No, let's have coffee at Starbucks. It's crazy. Go out and see if their customers are going to want to buy it. Don't waste all your money. I heard it today. Somebody said we've developed a product and we have it ready to go. We've spent every single cent we have, but we're not sure if it's going to sell. That makes no sense. Create a minimal viable product. Take that out the door. Walk out and say, geez, hello, my name is Sergey. How are you doing today? I have something that might be interesting for you. What do you think? Don't be afraid. Call. When you call people on the phone, and I do it in Russia, I've done it in the United States, I've done it in Europe, I've done it at 25, 26, 30, 35, 40. I've done it at different ages. Call to the very highest level in the organization. Call. Because if you don't, they can be a problem. The person at the top of the organization can make decisions. Now people are going to say, oh, but that's not how it's done in Russia. It's different in Russia. I hear it every single country. Come on. And I own a Russian company. I'm telling you, it's a way to do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. Go out to events like this. Check the badges. Find out where those people are from. I saw a lot of very important dignitaries here today. Find out where they are and go up and talk to them. Hi, my name's Sergey. My name's Svetlana. How are you doing today? Nice to meet you. Have your pitch down. Give them a little 60-second pitch. We've got to, I told you, we said, we can't change the weather, but we can change the impact on your business. Every single time I said that, and I would go to a senior executive, they always had a question for me because weather's so mysterious. Can you tell me more? Do you mind coming to my office? I'll give you 5 minutes. Those are the kind of things you have to do. Don't be afraid. When you go out to meet people, what do you have? You have business cards, right? How many people have you have business cards with you today? Raise your hand. Business cards. Look in the back. I see you back there going, oh, I don't have one with me. Because the guys give me their business cards, right? I know the deal. Okay. But you got to have your business cards. It's crazy. Bring them with you. If you want to sell, put them out. Bring it out. Hey, listen. Let me tell you a little bit about it. They look at your business card. When you get somebody's business card, take the business card and look at it. I used to be the main professor of marketing at one of the top business schools. And when I was a professor, this is like 101 sales and marketing. Do that. What else? You sit down and say, how much time do you have? And they'll say, well, I have 20 minutes. Keep your time to the 20 minutes. Exactly. Respect their time. Have an agenda put together. Go down through the agenda and items and say, are these the points? Ask. Mistake. Let me tell you one of them. One of them that's truly amazing is God gave you a gift. And the gift is He gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And do you know why? To listen. Sometimes when startups go out, they talk about their product so much, they forget to listen to the customer. If you don't listen, you don't know what their feelings are. You got to listen. Get the feedback. Listen. And when you listen, they'll tell you amazing things. Another step. When you go out to that customer, one of the things that you want to do, and I teach this, by the way, as part of the course of Startup Academy, but one of the things you want to do is ask them, what do you think? Is it interesting for you? Right? It's like when you go out on a date and you say to somebody, hey, do you like Sochi? Do you like warm weather? You got to go down through and find out what they're interested in. Find out directly what they like. Look in their office. Look around, and I'll tell you amazing things happen. It's called scanning. Scan their office when you go out there and look. One time in Russia, I saw a guy that had a huge trophy, a sailing trophy. And I looked at that trophy, and he says, I got 5 minutes. That's all the time I'm going to give you. So as soon as I went in there, I said, you're a sailor? How did you know? I looked at that trophy, and I said to him, I like sailing too. I've done a 47-foot sailboat. And he said, wow, that's really cool. He talked about the boat most of the time, but he invited me to have a longer conversation with him. I got 30 minutes out of him. I got an opportunity out of him because it's connecting the dots. Guy Kawasaki, who I had over here about a year ago now. Guy Kawasaki himself told me, he said, whenever you meet a person, find out the kind of things that they like. So, Guy Kawasaki came to Moscow. Not many people know that Guy is from Honolulu, Hawaii, but he loves hockey. He is crazy about ice hockey. He plays ice hockey almost every day in California. So, I went to Vladislav Tretiak, and I got a hockey stick, and I got a shirt signed by Tretiak. Oh, I took it to him. He said, this is the greatest gift. It cost me about $200. The greatest gift that I think I've ever had, I've ever gotten besides my children and my wife. It was crazy. Find out what people like. Simple kind of pleasures. Points of contact with them. So, soft skills, hard skills, keep track, customer relationship management systems like Salesforce. Use those systems. Don't just try to keep it in your head. It doesn't cost that much to try it. Use those systems because those systems will help you keep track of where you are in the sales process. And I guarantee you'll get 30 to 40% more sales purely because of those systems. So, I'd like to have you ask me some questions. I want to talk to you. Yeah? Questions that you have.
Друзья, есть ли у вас вопросы? Я готов перевести, даже у нас есть переводчик. Задайте вопросы Гарри. Из того, что он сказал, что вам было интересно. I have a question for you while audience is warming up. Yeah. So, you are an American person, and you came to Russia.
Me?
Yeah. You came to Russia and you started a business here. So, what would you suggest to our entrepreneurs in the audience, and why Russia? Why do you think this country is good for what you do?
Because the situation is you have untapped potential, and you don't realize this great potential you have, technology potential. You think differently about different ways of doing business. That potential is untapped. Now, the thing that I understand that's not is that, the sales and marketing parts that need to go with it aren't developed enough. especially to go to the rest of the world. And when I talk to guys like Anatoly Karachinsky at IBS, David Yang, who founded Abby, when I start to talk to them, they tell me all the time, we need sales and marketing expertise. We need to think about going global.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Итак, друзья, вопросы. Any questions? Okay. Quick question. Go ahead.
Where you find new startups?
So what we do is, so I told you that I'm an investor. So we have $10 million, and we'll put in up to $500,000 into a startup. So, and by the way, we started the company, so it's not like, oh, I'm getting this money from some governmental organization. It's our deal. Where we find them is places just like this, because I'm looking for people that have the spirit. We have a group, Startup Academy. It's a 10-week program. We have the best people on the planet Earth that are involved. You know Bob Dorff, Steve Blank. Bob Dorff is our dean, our rector of our program. Steve Blank is in our program. We've had Guy Kawasaki as part of our program. We have some of the greatest coaches, 15 to 20 years worth of experience. So what we do is we find them by putting them through Startup Academy. We find them in places like this. I'm looking for people that have passion. I'm looking for teams that believe in their dreams. Then we're looking at the technologies. It's not the technology first, it's the idea of who you are. It's the team. Because if I invest in a project, I got to live with you for the next 5 to 7 years. It's like being married. And when you have that mentality, you want each person to succeed. I don't want you to fail. Today in Russia, by the way, about 99% of the startups fail. 99. We have 34% of our startups have been funded. I don't believe that's right. The other thing is smart money. I want to see if you've got money, if it's smart money. Here's a real story. So this guy goes out and he says, oh, I'm going to get money. I have this rich friend. He's going to give me $500,000. And he said, I'm going out to my friend Igor, okay? Igor gives him $500,000. He is so happy because his company's in business. He can do some of the things. And Igor says, I'm going to bring my nephew Ivan in as the new president of the company. And Ivan is dumb. Dumb as a stone in English. Ivan comes in his AMG Mercedes with his 183-centimeter blonde Ukrainian girlfriend and comes into the office for 3 hours a day and sits there and looks at news and Formula One racing. Seriously. He killed the company. I want to make sure that you succeed because if you win, I win. So I look for people that have passion. I look for people that are optimistic. And I look for people that can visualize.
Well,
Thank you.
Gary, our time for the master class and for your great presentation is over. So I want to thank you very much. And let's have a round of applause
Thank
for
you.
Gary.
And I want you all to believe in your dreams because if you do, those dreams come true. Thank you and have a great day.
Дорогие друзья, давайте еще раз поаплодируем Гарри. На самом деле, когда Гарри выступает, мне очень нравится за ним наблюдать, потому что у него очень много энергии, и он дает ее всю аудитории.